What's up, guys? So in this video we are going to talk about the CSS box model. The CSS box model is very important to understand, but just know that it's also a very complex concept to understand. It usually doesn't click right away. Don't stress. It's going to take practice, but over time you will appreciate and understand the importance of the CSS box model. So in HTML, all the elements are boxes, and so with CSS, the box model is used when we talk about the layout. And layout is obviously a very important part of website development. The box model has margins, borders, padding, and content. What I did today is I opened up Dreamweaver so that we could see it in action. I have my code here on the right, and then I have the display on the left. So if we were in another program like Notepad++, I would do my coding, save it, open it up in a browser, and it would look like this. So this is just to give you a better visual of what's happening as I code. I also clicked on the element here so that you can see the four parts. The four parts again are content, so that's the content here in the middle, surrounded by the black. Then there's the padding, which is the white, the border, and then the margin. So if I click out of this, then you'll see here's the content, padding, border, and then margin. The padding and the margin are transparent. We don't set colors to those, but we can set colors to our border if we like I did here with the black, and we of course can set colors to our content. So let's see how this works. Over here on the right, I took the site we were playing with last time, and then I wrapped our paragraph with the div, made it an ID of div1, and then up here is the embedded style for that element. Here's the ID, the pound sign with div1, and then here are the properties of it. I added the background color of white so that we can clearly see the box we are playing with. So first let's talk about width. Right now we see the width here set to 250. That is only the content. When we set width or height, we are setting that to the content. So I left the height here blank. If we don't have a height, which we don't have to, obviously we don't have one set yet here, it's going to automatically determine the height based on the width value and the amount of content you had. But let's say you wanted to make it a little bit bigger than what it shows by default. Then you can add the size there, and it will adjust accordingly. So let's make it even more obvious. Let's change this to 200. And see, so we can make it the size that we want by adding in the height if we need to. So in this exercise, I am just going to keep it with the width. Next, we have the padding. Now again, the padding is the space around the content. So right now I have it at 10. Let's set it to 20. What does that look like? And see, it gives us additional space. Now, since I have just one number value here, 20, it's going to automatically apply it all the way around. We can actually set individual sides. So if I go 10, so if I have 20 and 10, watch what happens. Notice the 20, it's automatically, if I have two numbers, it's going to do the top and the bottom as the first number, and then the left and the right as the second number. You can even add another number in here. Let's say I do 5. If we do 3 numbers, then the 20 pixels, or the first value, is going to be the top, the second value is going to be the left and the right, and the third value is going to be the bottom. Finally, if we just add a 4th number in here, then here, let's even make it more obvious for you to see. I'm going to make it very obvious now. Woo! Then we see that the 20 represents the top, the 10 represents the bottom, the 5 represents the right, and the 25 represents the left. So just know you can control each side, or if you just put one number, it's going to automatically apply to all sides. This also applies to the margin as well. Same exact thing. With the border, we don't have to have a color at all. I can go in here and just delete this and just set it to 10 pixels, and it becomes transparent just like the others, absorbing the background of the content. But if we want to make it a color, we can do it. This time let's just do dashed, and then let's make it blue. See what that looks like. And that's our border. Right now I made it pretty big at 10, so if I was doing dashed, it'd probably be a little smaller. Let's try 1. And see how it's really tiny? Let's try a 5. You can play around with the different types. I'm going to go back to solid. There's a solid line there. So we talked about our content, our padding, and our border here. Next, we talk about the margin. Now with the margin, if we wanted to increase the gap between these two, we could make this bigger. Let's make it obvious. Let's do a 50. And we see that it moves down. Okay, now the last part is this word auto here. That's automatically centering the margins. Now if I wanted to make it left, the default is left. Let me first get rid of this margin here. I'm just going to put 0 so that we'll be able to notice. And then let me remove the word auto and click back over here, and notice it goes to the left. So if you're wanting to center your box, then you would want to go in here and under the margin add the word auto after a space, and that will center your element. So in a nutshell, that is the CSS box model. Next we'll dive into float and clear and some of those other styles that help us control our layout. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.